Welcome to Sellers and Makers Podcast, a place artisans can come together in community. Brought to you by Everything Embroidery Market. I'm your host, Hope Dale, and
I'm Christina Schulman, and today we are talking with Miss Jannet from SWAC Embroidery. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We're so excited to have you. First, I'd like to, just have you introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us who you are and how you got started in the industry.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. This is my first podcast, so I'm really excited to be here. So my parents actually bought an embroidery business when I was about 13. I would go there after school and hang out, and they had somebody that did their digitizing, and the person essentially taught me how to digitize for a few years after school. So I learned when I was 13 how to digitize. I did quite a bit with them. They did a bunch of trade shows. They did things like that. I went along. I helped with the booths with my sister. Then I went to college and I kind of just totally got out of it for a couple of years. I had nothing to do with any of it. And when I came back from college, I did a little bit of digitizing and I got into quilting. I do a lot of long arming. I actually still long arm for myself and my mom. My parents had sold the business by that point. And then I got a job and I was kind of like, what else can I do? So I started digitizing again. I was listing designs online. I had a website. And I've kind of, over the years, gotten in and out of it a little bit. I took a little bit of a break. I stopped digitizing. I had my kids. I have 3 kids. And I needed something that was a little bit more flexible with my job. So yeah. I was looking for something a little more than just digitizing. I couldn't quite make it work full time. So the opportunity to purchase this website came along right at the right time. The person I purchased it from was looking to retire, but she didn't want to close the website. So the website has about 100 designers on it, and I upload their designs. I help them. It's basically an embroidery mall where you can come get designs from all different designers, and I manage that. So I think having the background with the digitizing everything kind of helps me make sure everything's right. I went to school for computer things, so I do embroidery as well a little bit. Like I do some towels and things like that for people, mostly gifts. And I still use my long arm because I still like quilting, which is totally just a hobby, but
hey, you have to do stuff for you too, right? That's your decompress, your happy place.
It seems like this is like the perfect marriage of what, you went to school for with computers and then, embroidery and designs, which you had learned previously. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Yes, I absolutely love it. It's like, I can do it. I don't feel like I'm forced to sit at the computer and design all the time. I do enjoy it, but sometimes I would sit down and I would not be able to think of something to make.
Yeah, so, it's like writer's block.
Yeah.
So the ones, I guess the designs that you create, are those on the website as well?
Yes. They are. So that's how I ended up talking to the previous owner. I had listed designs on the website for several years. And obviously I purchased designs too, because I love them. Yeah. So I had talked to her over the years and things like that. And I always enjoyed everything that I was doing. When I was listing, I thought everything was reasonable. So I knew how it all worked from that perspective as well.
Okay. Yeah. I'm curious. Do you know what SWAC is? Is that an acronym or?
It is. I actually did not know what it stood for when I bought the website, and someone had asked me, one of my family members, and I had to ask. It stands for Sealed with a Kiss.
I was wondering if that's what it was, because I was like,
yes.
I knew what that was, but I wasn't sure if it was that or if there was some other.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah, it's cute.
I like that.
And in the logo, it's like the dot in the .com is a little like lips, so I think that's really fun. Yeah,
it is. No, for sure. So I'm actually looking at your website right now, and you don't just have embroidery designs.
Mm-hmm.
We do not. We do have other things. I'm starting to get a little bit more into that. The SVG and cutting files have become more popular. So we have those. We have some PDF sewing patterns. I would like to start expanding that a little bit. I'm going to work on that, see where I can go with that. There is some clip art, and there are a few hand embroidery patterns as well. So yes, there's a good variety. I would say a majority of it right now is embroidery designs, but I'm trying to work on expanding. Like the SVGs have really been taking off. So I've been working with those files as well.
I think it's really cool. So you can kind of get on here. It looks like, you can search for specific areas if you want, say like patriotic designs or whatever. If I was like a digitizer, how would I go about coming on to SWAC embroidery?
So I would say the best thing to do would be to email me at info@swacembroidery.com.
Okay.
And we can put that in our notes, the show notes as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so you have YouTube. Tell me about that.
I do. I have not done a lot with YouTube yet. I have done a couple Facebook Live videos the last few weeks. I'm doing them every other week. That's something pretty new, but I would like to start doing recorded videos with like tips and tricks, just like 10-minute videos, and maybe release them, I don't know, once a week, once every other week, something like that. So I'm going to start working on that soon. It probably honestly will be closer to the fall once the kids are back in school, but I have a list of things I want to start sharing. So
I love that you're doing that, because I think that's something that Hope and I talk about a lot, is trying to reach your customer in many different outlets, right? Like sometimes just because you've found most of your customers, say it's on Facebook or if you have a brick and mortar or whatever, that doesn't mean that you have to only go that direction. And your customers out there, sometimes they just don't know how to find you because they're looking at a different medium. So doing stuff like that, like going through YouTube or the Facebook Live, or maybe it's email marketing or the TikTok or the different outlets, like it just opens you. Did you just laugh at me because I said the TikTok?
The TikTok. Because if you don't Google, then we're gonna do the TikTok with Facebook.
Hey, you know what? It's the Facebook, it's the TikTok, it's the Instagram.
I get it. I mean, I say it too, but it makes me laugh when I hear you say it. The TikTok. It is the TikTok.
I don't even realize I do it, but
It's very interesting because also with everything being digital downloads, it's a very international customer base. So when I was doing the Facebook Lives, I had a few people email me saying like, I know you're doing it at 9 a.m., but it's literally 2 a.m. here and I'm sleeping. So I'm trying to find the best time. Obviously, you can go back and rewatch them, but the digital part of it definitely makes it international. So it's fun to talk to people from all over and see where they're from and what they're doing.
Like looking at our podcast, because we can see where it was listened to. I mean, we mainly the U.S., but we international for sure.
It's fun.
Are you not on the internet? It wouldn't have worked that way.
Right, exactly.
A radio show, that's really only going for the most part to your local area.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's fun. I'll go in and check where people have watched from. A majority are from the United States, but I think it's fun. I'll find somebody in Europe is watching it or something.
Right.
So with the tips and tricks and things like that, I guess I always just think that I've done it since I was 13. So I kind of grew up with it. And then I'll say something to somebody and they'll be like, I didn't know you could do that. So I have to think like not everybody has been doing this since they were 13.
Right.
Yeah. No, well, and you grew up on it. And so now it's kind of become second nature. And so some of those things that you've done just over and over again, you don't even think about. People that are newbies, or even if they've been doing it for a while, they can learn something from you.
Oh yeah.
You bring a lot of value there. I'm sorry, my mind's reeling about international, because I think that is such a cool thing. A lot of people don't think about that and the digital footprint that you have, because you are online and you are putting your content and your product out across, I guess, worldwide.
Yes, I've gotten very good at Google Translate.
Yes, and so that's what I was going to ask you. Have you ever had anyone reach out and say, in a different language or try to, I guess communicate with you about anything?
I have, yes. Not super often, but maybe once every few weeks, I will get an email with a question that is not in a language that I know. And for the Google Translate's very good. Sometimes it switches up words, so I got to kind of figure out exactly what they're saying. But it's worked very well. I've had good luck with it.
That's really cool.
That really is cool. So
Yeah.
what is your most asked question that you get?
Probably, to be honest, the most asked question, because everything comes in a zip file, is for a beginner not knowing how to unzip a file. That actually will probably be a YouTube video showing how to do that on your computer. I have written instructions that I copy and paste to them, and 99% of the time that works once they know what they're doing. I will get emails about stabilizers quite a bit. Like, what do I use with this design? Many of the designs don't tell you with the design what to use. It kind of, because it depends on the materials you're using and things like that. So people will ask what they're supposed to use. That's probably the two biggest questions.
Yeah. I did a whole thing on stabilizer not too long ago.
Did you?
Stabilizers and when to use what.
Yeah.
I mean, but people don't know. And sometimes they think, they know they need to stabilize, but they don't realize that what stabilizer or how much stabilizer varies based on what you're stitching on. The fabric or even the density of the design that you're stitching, because that makes a difference also.
And I also think new stuff has come out. My parents stopped the business in, I would say 2004-ish, somewhere around there. And I had gone to a show in like 2018. And I was like, Dad, look at all this new stabilizer that didn't even exist when you closed the business. So I think things have definitely gotten better. Like water soluble stabilizer was not really a thing.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like that one's a newer one.
And a couple of the like things that go with the iron on vinyl and the transfer stuff, that's all newish stuff. So
let's talk a little bit about you growing up in an embroidery shop. You said you learned how to do it young. Did you help actually in the shop? Were you selling? Were you stitching? What was your role in your family business?
Prior to my parents owning that, my dad worked in produce, which is actually what he does now again. My mom had kind of done things out of the house for quite a while, since I was like literally born. She was a stay-at-home mom after my sister was born when I was 3. She would do embroidery and things like that. I would help probably when I was 5 or 6, like pick out thread colors or like line up the threads for her. She'd say, go get me a red and a blue. And she at that time had a single needle. She was just doing things for kind of family and friends, small business. Then when they bought that, it was embroidery, heat press, and silk screening. I had never known anything about silk screening. So I was definitely behind the scenes. I did not help customers or anything like that. And I wasn't there a ton. I was still in school. So it'd be a few nights when they had to go in, weekends, things like that. But they then had a commercial 15 needle machine. So I didn't have to pick thread colors anymore. So I would work with the digitizer. She would kind of show me a lot of what she was doing. She was super nice. I learned a lot from her. I learned how to heat press. That was very difficult, and I would be totally fine if I never did that again ever in my life. I mean, I'm sorry, not heat press, silk screen. You had to line everything up. Everything had to go through a dryer. There's multiple colors. It was very, very easy to mess something up. So I did a bunch of that. I didn't love it. I loved doing the digitizing and stuff a lot more. Then they did trade shows. So I learned a ton from that. And I am super excited to be going in September because I haven't done one in a while. So I think it'll be fun. I learned a lot. Like, I mean, that's a totally different part of the business, how to set up, how to present, how to talk to people, how to do all of that. So I learned a lot there too.
Yes. So I mean, so you said that the digitizing portion was your favorite part and probably what you gravitated towards when you were younger. And then obviously now, do you have a software that you use that you prefer? Or
I do. I actually prefer Embird. I have Embird and Embrilliance. It's much simpler to use. I can do just about everything I need to do. That is definitely my preferred software.
Okay, so I actually use Embird too. I have dabbled a little bit in several of the other ones, and I honestly don't know how I ended up with Embird, except I think when I very first bought my first machine, my little single needle, and I was like, I need to merge some designs here. I think it was just a Google thing. Like, let me just find some sort of software. And I was looking at a certain price point, and I took off. Now I don't digitize mine. I haven't gotten into that point.
Okay.
But it is pretty easy to use.
Yes, definitely.
Now, what about trade shows? So we're excited to have you. We're so excited that you're going to be here. It's fun. And shameless plug really quick for those of you who maybe don't know what we're talking about. Everything Embroidery Market is going to be in Myrtle Beach in September 22nd through the 24th at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. And Everything Embroidery Market is a trade show for hobbyists all the way up to seasoned business owners for embroidery, sublimation, screen prints, all things garment decorating. And Miss Jannet is going to be there with us. She's going to be one of our awesome vendors with, I guess, representing her company, Swag Embroidery. So we're happy that you're going to be there. And like you said, trade shows is a whole different beast. So people that are strictly online sometimes will come representing their business. We have people that have a physical shop, brick and mortar store, that will be there representing their business. But it's regardless where you are, or if you do both, it is a different beast.
It is.
Right? You have to decide what you're going to bring. You have to and you have to plan ahead of time to make sure if you sell physical product that you have enough, and you have to, consider what time of year it is, and merchandising, how to display your booth. That's something that is a hard thing, because at least for me personally, I don't know if you know this, Jannet, but I also have a blanks company. And so that's how I got into the embroidery, I guess, trade show portion of our industry, is because we would come as a blanks company. And I remember the very first trade show that we did, I was like, it was almost overwhelming, because you don't know what are people going to want.
Yes. I remember the first one that we did too. It was,
it's like, I love my product, right? Otherwise I wouldn't be selling it. But how do I display it in a way that does it justice? And I think, tell me about you. So how, as someone who sells a digital product, what goes through your mind when you're getting ready for trade shows?
So this will be the first time I've ever been doing it as a digital product. We used to do physical products. What I am envisioning in my head, we will see how it actually shows up when we get there, is I have each designer that wanted to, not every single designer is selling at the show, is doing one bundle. So I'm not selling everything on the website. It's going to be a bundle. And in that bundle, I'm going to stitch out one or two designs.
Okay.
Then I'm going to have Halloween bundle and the price and the designer and everything like that, and a picture with all the other designs in it. Then I think it's going to be like a little walkthrough. And in the beginning, I'm thinking I'm going to have like little papers and golf pencils, and they're going to like write down the numbers of the sets that they want to buy.
Yes.
And either offer them the option to put them on a USB or to email them to them, which I can do very quickly right there. I think. I'm still working a little bit on the details.
Hey, we still have time, right? That's all the way it's.
But I have started stitching some samples out, so we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens.
Well, I think it's gonna be really good, and you have the unique ability to, like you said, pull from different designers, and different people prefer different types of designs, right?
Yes.
And because of, so you have so many different designers all on one website, you can accommodate just everybody.
That's what I'm hoping, that I get a very good variety. I'm hoping something catches their eye from doing trade. It's been several years since I've done them, but in the past I noticed one show you'll go and every single person will want a t-shirt, and then the next show you'll go to and every person will want towels. So like you said, it's very hard to balance inventory to make sure everything's right. So I'm hoping I'm avoiding a little bit of that with the digital, because I can sell 100 of that one.
Right. See, and that's like one of the coolest parts, is that you can easily, it doesn't matter if, one bundle you sell 300 of, because you just keep sending it. And it's not like you have to have back stock, which is huge.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that part of it makes it a little bit easier. I don't know how long you've been doing them. I know they've cut the show hours down, but the first one that we ever did was not 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 3 days.
Goodness gracious.
It is exhausting.
And set up and take down, before that. Oh my goodness. I bet you were like, by the end of it, you were like, I need a whole week just to...
I had totally lost my voice because you talk nonstop to people, and you're explaining to everybody what your designs are and what your products are, and I had totally lost my voice.
Like the toll on your body, like just the standing there and talk. I mean, of course you can sit down, but like it's just a lot.
Sometimes you don't get a big break, though. It depends on, and you don't really want one, right? Because you want people
you want it to keep moving, but at the same time, it's a lot on your body.
Yeah,
just to do that, just to do like regular hours in a trade show.
Yeah.
No,
especially because I feel like you're on the whole time, like you're ready and you're excited and your endorphins are going, and then
I think that's what kept me going, was like the excitement and the energy.
Yeah, and then you get done and you're like, it takes you a minute, but then once you like sit and you're like, it's over, you're like, oh.
Yeah, there's no sleep. There's no sleep like the day after a trade show. You're like, oh, relax.
But they are fun. I love the energy of them. The one thing I do miss a little bit is I basically work by myself. My mom helps me a little bit, and I have Michelle doing some of the social media, but I'm basically working from home by myself. So I do miss the crowds and the energy and the people. So I am definitely looking forward to it a little bit. I probably will be very tired, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're here to help you, right? If you need anything, just grab anyone in an EEM shirt. We'll we'll do whatever we can. I know Norma's planning to be in the trade floor for the majority of the show. So if you need anything at all, we'll help you. But seriously, we're excited that you're there. I know you're going to bring a ton of value. I know people are going to be so excited to go through your booth, do their little walkthrough, and see just the different things that are offered by all these different digitizers. I think that's really awesome.
I'm also going to try to, my mom is going and a friend of mine is going to help, and I'm actually going to try to sneak away and do a couple classes, because I have not gotten into vinyl at all. So I'm kind of excited to do vinyl.
Yeah, well, we have Stephanie with Caesar that she's going to be teaching some awesome vinyl classes. Yeah. I know Glitterbug Fairy is going to be teaching some vinyl classes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that would be very fun.
Yeah. And I always, I'm like, I want to take a class. I want to take a class, especially so when we're figuring out the schedule and we're talking to the vendors and we're, talking to the instructors and trying to create a schedule that's like encompasses a little bit of everything. It never fails that there's like at least 3 classes that I'm like, I want to take that one day.
I was going to ask, have you taken any?
No. I guess when we were in Biloxi, we did record some of the classes, so I got to watch them after. But I still feel like that's not the same as getting to sit in a class and hear and feel, like you said, feel the energy, the excitement.
And even the questions you come up with while you're sitting there or while you're listening to others. Not that you can't, if you're watching it, you can't like reach out to someone and ask, but like, I feel like, especially when you're sitting in a class, you get different questions just bounced off of the other people that ask the questions or just in real time. awesome. Like that's one of the things that we loved about, the only thing I got to sit in on was the vendor panel. And that's what I loved was that the questions just ping ponged off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, one person asked this question and the next one, you know, it had a little bit of the other question. And it was just a good back and forth that unless you're sitting in a classroom or some sort of, you know, even if it's online and other people are on like a live, like, you know, you get the questions because of other people asking as well.
I feel like sometimes when you take a class, you can learn from the other people in the class just as much as you learn from the teacher too. Either the questions they're asking or they might have a tip or suggestion of something that they've done. So I definitely think it's great to be there in person and feed off of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so many people that take these classes, I mean, there's some people that are beginners, but there's some people that are just like freshening up and have been doing it for years and just want to learn new technology. So like,
yes,
they bring a lot of experience just in the attendees, not only the teachers.
Right. And the conversation continues after the class, right? So you run into someone in the shopping area and then they had asked a question in the class and you guys strike up a conversation. Now you're friends. Now you're talking about everything. And I don't know. That gets me fired up. And I do think that a lot of people are in your shoes where maybe they're working from home or working primarily online or whatever. Yeah. And you need that interaction, you know? You need to be able to let loose a little bit, have a little fun, talk to people. Maybe you're not like me, but I'm a hugger. You know, when we were in lockdown, I missed a lot of hugs, and so if you're not, I won't hug you, but if you are, I will. So
yeah,
so many of the people that go to the show and that are in this industry do work from home or work for the most part alone, kind of, or they work in the middle of the night or, you know, they keep weird hours.
Yes.
And so it's nice if you meet someone in these circles that you're like, I bet they're up right now too. Like, let me send them a little message. And if I get a response, that's great. If not, I understand they're sleeping. But
yeah. I definitely always like, again, with that international thing. And then again, having the flexibility, I will often work after my kids are in bed. So I'm working till like midnight. And then I'll have a question from a designer that, you know, maybe I didn't understand exactly what they sent in. I'm like, do I email them? Do I wait?
So I feel like, especially with our podcast last season, we had interviewed a lot of vendors, and most of them work after their kids go to sleep. Most of these podcasts were done after kids went to sleep. It was like, but we were talking to other mothers and they're all like, no, we prefer to do it at that time because most of the women that are in this industry they already like doing it, but then they kind of leaned into it because it's flexible hours and you can do it after your kids go to sleep.
Yes.
And so it seems like a majority of this group are up after kids go to bed.
Yeah. My kids actually are still in school. I know a lot of kids are done with school. So that's why I was able to schedule it today.
Y'all are in Connecticut?
I am in New York.
New York. Okay.
Buffalo, all the way on the west side.
Okay. When do y'all get out?
My kid's last day is actually June 22nd, which is a little bit earlier than a lot of other schools.
Oh, that's earlier. Okay.
So
ours are out.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's posting these pictures like my kids are done with school. So yeah, I still have a little bit of time there. But then during summer break, I'll be working more at night and stuff.
Yeah. Christina and I, so we both she has 5 kids and I have 2, and we are constantly bobbing and weaving this summer with, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like we were talking about, you know, what we need to do at night once they go to bed because we try to get as much done during the day as possible. But
now, do you have any of your kids help you? My one daughter is actually very into it. She helps me. She's 7. She'll help me with some of the website stuff a little bit. Do any of your kids help?
I have a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy.
Oh, okay. So they're a little bit smaller.
The only thing that my 6-year-old finds interesting is that I know how to put things on YouTube, which is like this morning he woke up early because I also try to wake up early so I can get stuff done before.
See, I can't get up early.
I've
tried.
Honestly, after quarantine and all of the last weirdness of, I realized how important it was for me to have a few minutes to myself before my kids wake up.
Okay.
And it's really helpful for me to like answer emails or like get to some stuff before they wake up. Anyway, my son knows that I wake up early, so he comes down and he's like, Mommy, today, after I get back from Vacation Bible School, can you please make me a YouTube channel? He's like, I want to post things about dinosaurs. I can help you with the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
People want to know about dinosaurs.
Right. Well, she was asking me if my kids help with any of the stuff that I do. And I said, the only thing they find interesting that I do is that I know how to upload things to YouTube.
Yes. No, well.
Yours do.
Mine do. Yours are younger, though. I think as yours get older, they
did model for us.
They did.
Oh, there you go.
See, they do help. No, my oldest is about to turn 10. And
my oldest just turned 10.
Okay, so very similar age. And they range from 10 to 1.5, all my kiddos. And so of course the older ones are much more, or my girls at least, are much more involved. The boys a little bit. If we can find something fun for them to do, they want to do it. The work part, maybe not. But my oldest daughter is really, like, she wants to be an entrepreneur herself. Mm-hmm. She's like, I want to tie-dye shirts, and then I want to put designs on them, and not so much the embroidery portion. She wants to do like screen print transfers or whatever on her shirts, and she wants to sell them.
She wants to do screen printing.
Say what?
Don't do screen printing.
Hey, well, we actually just got some screen print transfers, not the
the heat press type. Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
The transfers. We're not going to start. We'll start the easier route.
Yes.
We actually so she's already tie-dyed her first batch of shirts. And then yesterday, our first batch of screen print transfers arrived in the mail. And so maybe we'll do a little video of how that goes. But she's like super pumped. We've discussed all the things from like, this is how much it costs. This is how much you want to pay yourself. This is how much you should sell it for. This is where you should sell it. And she's like super excited, and she's already in her mind going to make $1 million.
Do a farmer's market or something. My oldest makes soap, and he's been doing it almost a year. And he's hooked up with a couple like local people. There's a juice bar down the street, and he'll sell there like once a month, and he loves it.
Yeah. So we live in a really small town, but they just recently started. It's Peaster Market Days, I guess is what it's called. And so once every 3 months they do a market, and I think we're gonna do the next one.
Yeah.
She's like we're gonna do this. Finish this round of shirts. She also, I don't know, I'm going to show you. It's really dirty now because I've had it on for a little while, but she made me like a little anklet thing. And,
that's cute.
So she's trying to be all kinds of crafty, and I absolutely love it, and I want to support her. So I told her, let's just start building up our product, and then we'll take it to market and see how.
I've talked to my mom about it. I think you're kind of just born with that, like, you know, because I've had a couple like full-time jobs, and I'm like, no, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to work in corporate, and like I feel like that's always been part of me.
I feel like there's the kids that are always trying to sell, and they continue to do that, and then there's the kids that aren't, and that's fine.
I feel like that was kind of me as a child.
Right. One of my best friends and I, growing up, we lived on a golf course, and we sold lemonade every day, and we made a killing. Like my brothers would be like, I have 2 older brothers, and they'd be like, can you please let us in on this? And I'd be like, no, Go get your own
You didn't
thing.
want to do it when we started.
You didn't want to do it when I was mixing up the country time. You just come out here and think that I'm going to set this up for you. But we would do it, and we would make a killing because golfers, we just never had change. They were like, okay, I only got a 5. And I'm like, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks.
$5.
I'll get you an extra cookie. Here you go. But, they were always hungry and thirsty, and we got, we got that market. Yeah. And I will say, selling lemonade on a golf course and being a younger kid, I mean,
cute little curly haired Hope. I can just see you being like, you want some lemonade?
A lot of them were my dad's friends too, so they already knew me. And it was a great way. And it was like that started me wanting to sell stuff, and then I wanted to sell stuff ever since. It's like,
yeah.
It's a great way to start, and it teaches you responsibility. It teaches them about money. It teaches I think it's a good life lesson. Also, it's a great summertime activity.
Yes.
Well, and I like the idea of like not setting limits, right? Like if you want to make it and you want to sell it, just do it. Just try it. And it teaches them that if they try, they can be successful. That's, and even if you're not successful, that's a lesson in itself, right? So maybe.
I was going to say, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, I've had a couple business things that haven't worked out, but I learned from them, and that's how I've gotten to where I am. So
yeah.
That's go back and see why it didn't work, or was it just timing? Like, were you trying to sell, hot chocolate in the summertime? That could be a problem. Well, it could be in Texas. I don't know about anywhere else, but
I don't know. It has been 60 degrees and pouring rain. It was thundering and lightning all night last night. Like, I'm over this. Where is the summer? I'm actually excited because when we go to Myrtle Beach, I was like, I think I'm going to add a day on and just stay at the beach because by then it will be cold and rainy again.
Yes,
so
you totally should. I think a lot of people are going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, we're going to do that too. You'll get to meet all my crazy family. Typically when I'm working, my husband takes at least the little kids. My oldest will probably be there helping at the show. But and they go do the fun things. And then hopefully at least a day, either a little bit of time before the show or a little bit after, we try and do some sort of family something.
I think that's probably what we'll do.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's fun. And we were looking, like, there's a lot to eat. Apparently there's just a whole lot to do right around.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a few years, but it's definitely a nice area.
Okay. So you've been there.
Yes.
I have not. My brother-in-law and his wife, they go every year, I guess July. And so he's like, yeah, it's great. We have so much fun. And I'm like, my turn.
Yeah.
And it should be like perfect in September too.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it'll be
not hot, not cold, just right.
Yes.
Yep. Hopefully we don't bring any Texas crazy weather, and it's just amazing.
Yes. What are some of your favorite products to use? Like either when you're doing long arm or embroidery or any of it?
So my favorite thing is freestanding lace. Definitely. With water soluble stabilizer. I make lots of Christmas ornaments for all my friends because they're flat and they're little. Yeah. I stick them in all the Christmas cards I send out.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea.
And my setup is actually at my full workshop is actually at my parents' house. I have two 15 needles and the long arm all in my parents' basement.
Nice.
At my house, I just have a small single needle that I'll just whip out for stuff. So I will just let that thing run kind of throughout the year, and I'll just make little ornaments and stick them in Christmas cards. That's definitely my favorite type of design.
That's awesome. That's a really, really good idea.
Because they're quick and easy. And most of the time, there's several of them on the website that are multiple colors, but there's a lot that are one color. So you just find a bobbin matching color, throw it in the machine, and call it a day.
Yeah. And then it's like just like Christmas. Like they get to open up and they get everyone loves getting Christmas cards. It's fun to watch over the years and all that, but then they get a little treat and something for you that they can keep forever. So I love that.
So I love freestanding lace. That's probably my favorite. I've done a couple of the very intricate, like I did a train that had like 30 pieces. I don't do a lot of shirts. I do a lot of towels, monogram towels, things like that. I don't know. My favorite product is probably, my scissors. A good sharp pair of scissors.
Yes.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? I don't think you're alone in that. And then what happened? Like, there is no anger. I hate to say anger, but like, that's the quickest way to get me mad. You steal my scissors. When my kid, like, I go in there and I'm like, where are my applique scissors? And they're like up there cutting who knows what, and I'm like, no.
Yep.
I remember that from a very, very small age or young age with my mom and her sewing room. And it's like, do not touch my scissors. Like,
I feel like that's like the one thing that's off limit in the house.
Like, you have your own scissors. Do not touch my scissors.
Yep.
Do you use the curved or what is your go-to?
The curved ones. Yeah. Definitely.
So I know you have your website, but do you do actual embroidery for a business as well?
I do. I haven't done a ton of it lately. My focus kind of has shifted to the website, but I think once fall comes and the kids are back in school a little bit more, I think I'm going to try to start working a little bit on that again.
Yeah.
Once
the kids out for summer, everything.
Well, it was tough because my kids were essentially home for a year and a half. So a lot of it got changed. Yeah.
Hey,
it's great. It's the name of the game around here.
But it was fun. We got to do a lot of fun stuff together. I'm glad we had that time to spend together. Yeah. And I'm glad I was able to make it work. I know a lot of people that had non-flexible full-time jobs struggled. So I'm like, nope, I'm good. I can spend time with them. I can stay up really late. I'm fine.
Exactly.
Yep.
But
and now you get to join us in Myrtle Beach.
I know. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. Well, Miss Jannet, I think if you don't mind, tell people where they can find you.
Okay. So probably the best way to get a hold of me is email. I try very hard to keep up with Facebook, but sometimes I do not get notification that people have messaged me. So my email is info@swakembroidery.com. The website is swakembroidery.com, where all the designs are. I'm doing Facebook videos every other Monday live, and in the next couple months, I'm going to be doing YouTube as well. So that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Yes.
Maybe one day I'll do TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok right now.
TikTok. Oh, man. Yes. No, hey, TikTok has been, I haven't done it yet for Everything Embroidery Market, but we do it for Love That Cotton. And it's fun, but for me, it's challenging, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not quite ready to I don't know, commit to it yet. Hey,
you know what? Start with YouTube. See where that takes you. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, that's swakembroidery.com. That is where you can find Miss Jannet. And then of course, she, as well as many other vendors and instructors, will be with us at Everything Embroidery Market in Myrtle Beach, September 22nd through the 24th. We can't wait to see you guys there. We have a lot of classes, like we talked about a little bit earlier, a little bit of everything, lots of vendors. We're all here really just, we want to help you be successful. We want to help share our knowledge and learn from you guys as well. And if you haven't signed up, please do. You can do so at everythingembroiderymarket.com. So, yes.
And one thing I will say is if you are I know very beginners sometimes are intimidated. Come to the show. You can learn so much. You can get so much knowledge. Everybody's always so helpful, so friendly. Like, don't feel like you don't know enough to come. Like, come.
Absolutely. Everybody starts somewhere. And that's the hardest part, is just getting started. So come to Everything Embroidery Market. We'll help you get started. We'll be your cheerleader once you start, and we cannot wait to see you there. And those of you that have been there before, come again. Bring your friends, bring your family. Let's have a good time. Let's take over Myrtle Beach with the crafting, the decorating community. So, all right. I think that is all, Miss Jannet.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys in Myrtle Beach then.
We'll see you there.
Right.
Thank you
See
so
you in Myrtle
much.
Beach.
It was so good to talk to you.
You too.